Welcome back to your January grant writing bootcamp. So, we've already talked about why you should plan at all. We've talked about where to start. We've talked about what you need to do to set your big goals for the year. We've talked about non-negotiables. And today we are talking about getting picky. And what I mean by getting picky is I want you to go back to that long list of academic writing goals that you made in an earlier lesson. And if I'm guessing correctly, the list is very, very, very long. And that is totally normal. That is typical for any high achiever. And I am almost certain that if you're watching this, you are a high achiever. So what I want you to do is take that list, and then I want you to take the calendar of non-negotiables, those non-negotiables that you put into the 12-month slots from yesterday's lesson, and really be honest with yourself about what is reasonable to accomplish in 1 year. And the reality is your list of wants is going to be much longer than what is possible for you in a year, given those existing obligations, given the amount of time that all of those projects on your want list are actually going to take. So it's time to get picky. It's time to decide what is really important, what you really need to accomplish this year, and what can be pushed aside for a subsequent year. Because really, it's going to happen one way or another. It's either going to happen because you choose for it to be pushed off for a year, or it's going to happen because you just don't get to it. And so I always think it's better to make a deliberate choice and take an intentional action towards something. So by making a decision that, no, this is just not on my plate this year, this gets pushed to 2021, you are making a decision, you're prioritizing, and you're focusing on what really matters for you this year. And the great news is, if things go better than expected and those projects you do decide to focus on this year wrap up sooner than you anticipated, you can bring one of those other projects back onto your plate. But at least you're not going to get to the end of 2020 and feel disappointed that you didn't accomplish that huge, long, completely unrealistic list of goals. So that's what I want you to do today. Take a good hard look at that long list of goals and decide, what can you genuinely get done this year? And I'm going to say it's probably going to be maybe 3 or 4 of those projects, depending on how big they are. If you're having trouble figuring out how long a particular project is going to take, we'll get to that in subsequent lessons, but I would say choose no more than 5. Even 5 is going to be a stretch depending on the size of the project. So I would max out at 5. There you go for today. If you do want a workbook to help you work through all of these prompts, all of these activities, there's a link in this video just below here in the comments where you can download your own workbook. So head there, get the workbook, and join me for the next lessons where we dive a little bit deeper into this material. I will see you tomorrow.